Hi guys, welcome to Crown Pointers. If you're looking for a recipe that works for almost everybody with a special dietary consideration, then I've got a great soup for you today. It's chickpea soup and it's really delicious, and it's, soy-free, gluten-free, vegan, 100% whole food, plant-based, unprocessed, no oil. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't say that it's not. So anyway, it's a great, really versatile recipe, and I came across it because I was having a dinner party, and somebody coming had celiac disease, and somebody else coming is vegan. A few people were vegan, and then there were a couple other allergies as well. So trying to find a recipe that intersected for everybody was difficult, and so I came across this, and with a few modifications I was able to make it work. And it's from allrecipes.com, and I wanted to find the link and I can't find it anymore. It was from about 10 years ago, but I'm going to show you how to make it, and I hope that you enjoy it. So the ingredients for the soup are really simple. We have, I think, 7 things, but it's vegetable stock, and then a sweet potato or a yam. And if someone can explain to me what the difference is between a sweet potato and a yam, I would really appreciate it, because I've Googled it a few times and I'm still very confused. I think it might be like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square type of thing. Like maybe a sweet potato is a yam, a type of yam, or I don't know. I'm confused, but I'm using this kind right here. And you can also use the brighter orange, what I call a yam, instead as well. So that's the second thing. And then we have 2 cloves of garlic. And the first time I started trying to make my grandmother's recipes when I was learning how to cook, I called her because the recipe had turned out not tasting the right way. And it turned out I had used 2 whole bulbs of garlic because I thought a bulb was a clove. But anyway, 2 cloves of garlic. And then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice from a lemon, or if you have a bottle of juice, that works too. And then 3 large carrots. So I'm going to use 4. I already started chopping them here, but I'm going to use the little multicolored ones. And then 1 onion. And I always buy the pre-chopped, fresh or frozen, because I cry so much. It's not pretty when I try to chop an onion. And then 1 can of garbanzo beans. And this particular brand is low sodium and also non-PBA lining, which I didn't even know we had to worry about until really recently. But anyway, that one's non-PBA. So anyway, I'm going to finish chopping everything up, and then I'm going to water saute the garlic and the onions. And if you didn't know this, you do not need to use oil to saute vegetables. I didn't believe it until I tried it, but it's true. You just use water instead of oil, and if it starts to stick, you add a little more. And then you don't have all that extra added oil that you don't need in your food. So that's a pretty good trick. And I'm going to show you one more trick after the soup is almost complete, which if you don't know yet, I think you're going to like. All right, so I just put in a few tablespoons of water. I let those heat up. I let the water heat up, and then I dumped in about an onion's worth of chopped onion. And I'm going to see if I can prove to you over video, I don't know if that's even possible, that you can saute without oil, because like I said, I really didn't believe it until I tried it. But the onions, I put the onions in first. I for what it's worth, I always put the onions in before the garlic when the recipe says to put them both in at the same time. Because for me, I feel like the garlic always gets done before the onion. And so I give the onion a head start. I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's just what I do. Technically speaking, it might be wrong. Anyway, and then while that is going, I've already got my garlic chopped, so I just got to be patient and wait. I'll tell you a story while I'm waiting for the onions to get a head start here. And that is, I used to be obsessed with Food Network cooking shows, and they had this thing where you could send in a video to be the next Food Network all-star, something like that. But you were going to submit your recipe, and if you got chosen, you could go on the Food Network. So my friends Steve and Debbie let me use their house, and I had my notes all up, and I had a video recorder going, and I was saying all my talking points about my recipe while I had oil warming up in the pan to saute vegetables, because back then I used oil to saute. And while I was talking, in the background behind me on the island where their burner was, whoosh, this huge fire happened because I caught the oil on fire because I wasn't paying attention because I was worried about my talking points. And it was ridiculous. So anyway, I never sent in my tape for the next Food Network. I never really got it all figured out. I also had the video and the sound wasn't synced up with the visual, and I never figured out how to solve that problem. And anyway, I moved on to other things like I do pretty quickly with ADD. So anyway, that was my attempt at sauteing on camera, and I'm trying it again, but with water. Okay, so I'm gonna add in the garlic. It smells really good. You guys can't tell that, but it smells tasty. I'm just gonna let that go for a couple minutes. Okay, so the onions are starting to get to be translucent and the garlic is smelling really good. And I did add a little bit more water. I added a couple more tablespoons. So the onions started to stick and I just put more water in, and that's all you have to do for water sauteing. So let me see if I can show you. Probably steam up the camera, but you know what garlic and onions look like when they're sauteing. But anyway, so those are ready. It's supposed to take about 8 minutes. I think it takes a little longer. And then we're going to put everything else in. So I put the box of vegetable broth in a measuring container just because I was curious how closely it comes to 4 cups. I was going to put the box in regardless because I wasn't going to be that precise. But it is actually exactly 4 cups, which is what the recipe calls for. So we're going to do vegetable broth, carrots, and sweet potato / yam, and then a can of garbanzo beans. And we're just gonna stir that real quickly and then let it cook for 35 minutes. And I'm gonna cover this while it cooks. And then the next step will be to add the spices and the lemon juice, but I'm gonna show you a trick when we do that part. So you can add cayenne. I didn't mention that earlier, but it gives it a really nice kick. So partway through the cooking, dump some cayenne in there if you like heat. Okay guys, Alexa just told me that it's been 35 minutes, so I've just been simmering the soup for 35 minutes on kind of medium-low heat. And let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Oh, Alexa is trying to answer me since I mentioned her name. Can you see? Anyway, it looks really good and smells really good, but I still have a couple of quick tricks to show you. So I'm going to stir in some cayenne. I forgot to do that while it was cooking, which I think would have probably helped the flavor get in there more, but I forgot, so I'm going to do it now. And then you add salt and pepper to taste, but what I'm going to actually do is probably leave out the salt for now, because then people can just add it at the table and it won't absorb into the food, and then we end up getting a lot of extra salt that we don't need. So I'm just going to do the pepper. And then I'm going to add more than 2 tablespoons of lemon juice like the recipe calls for, because I really like it. And if you don't have a lemon squeezer, check out my lemon video, my lemon tip for how to juice citrus without a lemon squeezer. I'll link to it below. So anyway, lemon juice. And then what you can do if you reheat this later is actually add another squeeze of fresh lemon juice, which is really nice. And you could top it with some fresh herbs too. That'd be good. So that's all going in here. And then the super secret, but not really, but awesome trick for making creamy soup without any dairy and any cream whatsoever is just to take half the soup out, put it in a blender, and pour it back in. And it makes this really creamy texture, and yet it's all healthy, just vegetables. So I'm gonna do that. And sometimes, you know, some people like it, the whole soup to just be a cream soup, in which case you could blend the whole entire thing at this point. But what I like to do is just take out half or so, quarter to half, blend it and put it back in. So it's still a chunky soup, but with a creamy base. And so that I don't break your ears off, I'm just gonna pause and blend, and then I'll show you what the end product looks like. Okie dokie, so I've got a good amount of the soup blended. Ooh, it's fizzing because it's so hot. Might want to let it cool a little bit before you do this. I don't know if there's risks associated to not doing that. And I was thinking about it. I don't know what the difference between a chickpea, why is it called a chickpea versus a garbanzo bean? So if you know, let me know, please. And then I'm just gonna stir the blended creamy part back into the vegetables. It's a juggling act here. So this is a whole food plant-based recipe, and I have been learning a lot about whole food plant-based recipes, and I didn't know where to start when I started wanting to cook this way. And so I started watching YouTube and reading tons of books and going to websites, and I figured that if other people are having the same challenge I'm having, it might be nice to put together a resource. So I have a Word document, or I think it's a PDF now, of all different apps, books, websites, links on YouTube for YouTube cooking shows, and that are all whole food plant-based. And if you would like a copy of that, please email me and I'll shoot it over to you. So you'll have all those resources in one place. Okay, so this looks really creamy. Like I said, without any dairy. Magic. Maybe you already know this. Let me know if you do. And let me know what other tricks you have for making things really creamy, especially without dairy. I know there's a lot of people for health reasons, but also for allergy reasons who can't have dairy. So let me go. Ah, can you see it? Before I spill it out, you might have to take my word for it. It's really delicious and healthy. And like I said, vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, whole food, plant-based, no oil, and currently no salt too. So try it out. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, everybody.